Hello and welcome to the Trusted Podcast. My name is Blake Johnson. I'm your host, and today I've got a great program for you. I've got Lieren on the call today, and we are going to be talking about skincare and esthetician. So, Lieren, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's jump right in. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your company, and what sets you guys apart in the aesthetics world.
Yes, so I currently live in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I own and operate a beauty school, and it's called the Skin Institute International. And I opened that 5 years ago to provide a really thorough and sophisticated education for individuals that wanted to get a job in the beauty industry. And so I just saw a need for a very thorough, well put together linear education program. And so we do operate a full functioning school program for these individuals to become licensed estheticians. But within our school, we do have a full functioning spa. And through that, our students are able to get that real life experience on the paying client before they get out and working in the real world. And so we do a lot of education and we do a lot of services with our students and staff.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. I know just from our conversations prior to this, this isn't, you didn't start this from nothing. You have family who's been in this industry before. So can you speak a little bit to that? Because I think that helps add to your guys' qualifications and the school's, ability to teach.
Yeah, absolutely. I am the youngest of four siblings, and my two older siblings are sisters, and they are estheticians as well as our mother. And so it's our mother that got us involved in this, and she started her first beauty school in Utah. And she's had that school for 20 years. And we all just went through the program and we ended up loving aesthetics and skincare more than we ever thought that we would. And so we've had a lot of great times together, and you can imagine what those hotel room conversations are like as sisters and mother. We can't ever stop talking about skin. Sometimes my mom has to say, "Come on, please, can we talk about something else different besides skin?" But we love the beauty industry so much, and it is booming and growing. And so I have the opportunity to own and operate the Skin Institute International in Hawaii with my mother, and with her expertise and years of experience, and my young experience in working the front lines in resort spas, we've come together and we've built a really nice spa and school.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk about biggest mistakes um, people make with their own skincare. Very basic stuff that you would think that everybody would know, but probably just from the interviews and stuff that I've had with people, most people don't know the basics. So let's start with there. What are the basic mistakes people make with making sure they have good skin?
Yeah, great question. There are still a lot of simple mistakes that are being made that just the lay client might not know. But because the industry is booming, I mean, everywhere you look, from every corner or billboard or Netflix, shows, there's something having to do with skincare treatments and facial laser treatments, and there's a plethora of things that's out there that can be done for our skin, but a lot of people don't dabble in it at all. And I would say, just taking it back to the basics, a lot of people just simply don't cleanse their face, morning and night, or even daily, or even in the shower. I think sometimes they think that just, washing their face when they shower is good enough. But actually really finding a good cleanser, an effective cleanser at affordable price to wipe away, dirt and impurities and pollutions in the air on a day-to-day basis, even if you're at home all day. um, we have dead skin cells that build up and they need to be cleansed and washed away. Um, and men, I always tell my students and clients this: men will always have better skin than women, always. And it's because they shave. And being able to shave your face every day or every other day, you are helping your skin's cell turnover rate. And through that, you're going to have younger looking skin. And so with women, we want them cleansing their skin to exfoliate. Wash away those impurities. I would say the second most important skincare regimen that one should be doing that we just simply aren't is wearing sunscreen. It may be cliche and we hear it all the time, but are we actually doing it? And we get most of our sun damage before the age of 18. It just doesn't start appearing until our 20s or 30s and more into our 40s and 50s. So even though we get most of our sun damage before the age of 18, it's still never too late to start protecting your skin from the sun damage that we receive from the sun. And so I think, cleansing and washing our face on a regular basis, but also protecting it. There's no point in trying to reverse the signs of aging through facials and lasers and different treatments, within our industry. That's pointless to do if we aren't going to, start wearing a sunscreen. So with my husband in particular, men, they don't typically use a lot of skincare products. They're like, I wash my face in the shower or with a bar of soap. And no, I don't wear sunscreen. That's who needs sunscreen. But my husband, being in his mid 30s, he's already had skin cancer and it's had to be cut out. And I think it's years of golfing and playing baseball. And he now is kind of trying, starting to see some aging come up, and I just tell him I'm not going to even touch your skin until you wear sunscreen every day. And he's really good about it. I mean, every single day, it's just now part of his morning regimen. And being in his mid 30s, it's not too late to start protecting your skin. And so I would say that people need to find a good sunscreen, and it's the mineral sunscreens that we want. That's another thing is that people do wrong probably is we're putting chemicals on our skin and they're being absorbed into our skin cells as opposed to resting on the surface like a mineral would. And mineral sunscreens are becoming more and more popular nationwide and worldwide because actually they're finding that the chemicals have so many cons to them. And so getting a mineral sunscreen to block those UVA and UVB rays from the sun, our aging rays and our burning rays, so that we can really take care of our skin. And I would further add that I would say another mistake that I am finding that people are making is not only cleansing and protecting, is people look at going to the spa or receiving spa services as a pampered luxury. And so many people look at going to the spa as I don't have time, I don't have money, and that's a feel good relaxation type thing. But really, going to the spa should be skin health and skin maintenance. We talk so much about our nutritional health, our our diet and our fitness. We talk so much these days now about mental health, but really being in the industry, what's just as important is skin health. And people can die from skin cancer. And that's why people need to be educated on the basics of this shouldn't be a pampered luxury. You should be going to a professional, getting educated and recommended things to do for each individual skin type and start there with making it more of a regimented routine.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite quotes is, um, you know, unless we can do it regularly or on a daily basis, it's not worth doing. It's got to be
Mhm.
something that if it's really worth doing, you'll do it frequently and make it a part of that. And then to speak to your thing about shaving, the few times I've grown a beard, which is not often, I notice as soon as I shave it, I am covered in zits underneath because it is. You just don't get it as clean as well with it in there. So I'd never thought of that before, but you know what? That's definitely true.
Yeah, you're exactly right. If you're not exfoliating on a regular basis, then impurities are gonna harbor, and then we go and get a microdermabrasion or a chemical peel once, twice a month, and then people think like, "Oh, I can't get a microderm or I can't go get a facial because I'll break out." Or they always make me break out, or I'm probably allergic to products. That's maybe another misconception, is that's not what's happening. What's happening is because you're exfoliating not as much as you should be, or getting professional grade services done as regularly. And so then when you do get them done and they're cleansing, exfoliating, and removing the uppermost dead skin layers, now it's exposing your skin and things are going to start to come out. With men, now obviously it's situational with skin type and hormones and stuff, but typically with men, because they're able to get a clean shave on a regular basis, their skin it can breathe. And they do get a faster cell turnover rate. But also, if you look at men from here down compared to women, their marinette lines are not gonna be as deep. Their crepiness and the texture of their skin is not gonna be as rough. The sun damage, the hyperpigmentation spots that, maybe a wife might see more than their spouse. So it really is fascinating to kinda see and point that out to people.
So I point this out because my wife is also involved in the makeup industry. She does, I think, once a month or once a quarter, she will straight razor shave just to get that skin a fresh chance of that turnover and getting all the dead skin off. Is that something that you would recommend as well?
I'm actually so glad you brought this up because, that's awesome that she does, and we teach our clients to do that. So, um, people think that it's a myth. It's a myth, and people think that if they shave their face, that the hair is gonna grow back thicker, darker, more, and that's not true. The hair on our faces, especially women, is a different type of hair. It's called vellus hair. And when we shave it off, it's not going to grow back thicker, darker, more. I mean, your skin, your hair follicle underneath being shaved off does not know what's happening on the surface. And so the only thing that it does do is it will grow back a little bit more blunt and you can just kind of feel it a little bit. But I encourage women to shave actually. And it's funny because sometimes we'll tell our students when they first come to school, we're like, yeah, we shave our faces. And then towards the end of the program or 5 years later, they've come back and said, I remember the first time that you told us that you guys shave your faces. And we were like, that's weird. And they're like, and now we shave our faces. And it's not a big deal at all. And so, with women in particular shaving their face, it removes the vellus hair on the surface. It removes dead skin cells. It helps for your products, your serums and your moisturizers to penetrate better. It allows for your makeup to go on smoother. Um, and so shaving your face is actually a really great thing. However, that leads me into another service that's really highly recommended. Is it's one thing to shave your own face here and there, every day or every other day or regularly. I don't necessarily recommend. I would encourage individuals to come to a spa by a licensed professional and receive a service known as dermaplaning. And dermaplaning is the exact same concept. However, it's just using a straight scalpel blade, a surgical blade, um, at a 90-degree angle, well, tilted from a 90-degree angle, and it's run across the skin. And through this, we are removing the vellus hair for them. We're removing the dead surface skin cells, and clients love this treatment. And it's probably one of my top sellers on my spa menu because almost any skin type can get it. It's pretty gentle. It's extremely safe. It takes a skilled or certified esthetician to perform the service. And what clients love about it is, yes, that they're removing their vellus hair, the utmost layer of their dead skin cells. We're penetrating maybe a chemical peel after, light chemical peel, but for sure serums and moisturizers. And they're glowing. Their texture is improved. Over time, it will lighten hyperpigmentation or sunspots, and it does allow the client to feel like their facial treatment lasts a little bit longer. So, dermaplaning is equivalent to shaving, only letting the professional do it.
Okay. What are some other things that that people should seek out a professional to do? Let's say they do have some bad skin, or just even things they should do on a regular basis that they can't necessarily take care of themselves.
Good question. I know that in today's day and age, we can have ordered anything online and it's to us within 2 to 3 days. And you can buy pretty much anything and everything online now that once you couldn't buy, that you'd have to get through a professional, right? So there are more and more people that are going to online to get the things that they want, and they're starting to do it more and more in their home. Like dermaplaning. They're buying little shavers and trying to dermaplane their own face. I don't recommend that. I've seen many clients come to us where they have nicks all over their face from a little brow shaper or straight edge type blade. Um, Also, I think with waxing, a lot of individuals think like, oh, I don't need to go get my brows waxed, or I don't need to get my underarms waxed, or I'll wax my own arms, or even bikini area, and they come to us sometimes bruised or with lifted skin or with breakouts, and they wonder why. And so I think a lot of times people are trying to cut corners and do things themselves, or they don't want to pay the money, or they think that they're capable, and a lot of people are, and they do just fine. But I do recommend, again, talking about overall beauty and skin health, that individuals should treat themselves and let a professional who went to school and did hours of this, where you can find it extremely affordable, and have individuals um, do it for you. I think too, taking it even further into what people are doing at home, they're trying to do their own chemical peels at home. You will find like little laser treatments or um, laser hair removal treatments. A lot of those are gimmicky. And I think, there's a lot of products that you see on TV or online or advertised on social media that I too have even ordered just to kind of see the quality. And so I think sometimes the lay client might get caught up in them being able to do their own beauty products or beauty services or order certain machines from home, and they really just are not the same. And so I would just say, find a good provider, a good esthetician that's going to care about your be genuine in your overall skin health.
Yeah, we have that in every industry. I mean, I have it in the legal industry as well. You have the legal Zoom rocket lawyer, or the people who even try to draft it themselves, the documents themselves, and it's like, yeah, you're welcome to try. Sometimes you might get lucky and nothing happens, but when it does come to being a big mess, you're going to wish you'd gone through a professional. So I definitely get that. That's why we have professionals. That's why I did this podcast, is to let people know, hey, here's the things you can do on your own, the shaving, the skincare, the routines, that kind of stuff. But this is when you should have a professional involved. And so I appreciate that advice. I think it's true. People need to know when to step away and not be a do-it-yourselfer.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All right. So, how should the listeners go about choosing a trusted esthetician?
Oh, great question. That's kind of one of the main reasons why I opened up a school, is to teach that very thing. With my personal experience, I've been a licensed master esthetician for about 14 years or so. So I've worked the front lines. I've worked for a couple of plastic surgeons. I've worked for a dermatologist. I've worked in Hawaii in resort spas in Waikiki at 3 different really well known spas. I've worked at quite a few day spas. And one thing that I took away from my experience that I'm so grateful for is um, just the small things, the little things. And I wouldn't have learned those little things had I had not had that experience, right? So I took everything I learned along the way from the surgeons and the derms and the resort spas and the day spas and my colleagues along the way, and said, I see a lack of customer service. I see a lack of little things that one can do to really separate themselves, and people just aren't doing it. I mean, I'll be transparent with you. Being an esthetician inside the business where we're charging anywhere from $100 to $200 a facial, I worked with a lot of estheticians that it was like almost herding cattle, like get a client in, out, in, out, in, out. They didn't really care about the client. They didn't really care about their skin needs. It's a paycheck for these therapists, right? And so I didn't like that. I look at every single client like it was my grandmother, or I look at every single client like this is hard earned money of theirs that they're spending to see me. I want them to totally love their experience. And so that's where I went to the education side, and I'm going to start at square one, and I'm going to educate these individuals to then go out into the field and make an impact with raising the bar for these day spas and spas. And so um, one thing that I think really has helped me is we have asked spa directors and spa owners, as a school owner, what do you need from our graduates? What do you need in your therapists to help your spa be successful? And they always say 2 things. They always say, our estheticians can't sell product, and our estheticians don't have the greatest professionalism or customer service. And
Bedside manner.
exactly. And so we really scrutinize our students with that one. We teach our students how to walk. We teach our students how to talk. We teach our students how to separate yourself from the rest, and it's not that hard. It doesn't take much of these little golden nuggets to be different. And so, for me, in my case, it's a little bit different because I'm heavy on the education side. But for my spa, I'll give a couple examples of things that really set us apart. Um, the lay public come to my spot knowing that they're students, knowing that they aren't licensed, that they have room for error. My clients know that they're going to pay a lesser price for probably a lesser quality service potentially. And with my school, that's not really the case, because I don't let my girls hit the floor in the clinic until they are Ritz-Carlton approved in my mind. And so, um, some of the things that we do is that doesn't take much time or much um, product usage or effort is we do little things like when we greet our client, we take them back to another little private uh, relaxation area, and we do what we call an oshibori on our client. And so we'll greet our client, we'll bring them back, and we'll put them in these really comfortable chairs. And what the esthetician does is she kneels down at the client's feet and removes the client's shoes. And she has these hot towels known as oshibori. It's Japanese for wet towel. And during this time, the esthetician student will cleanse off their hands and cleanse their feet with these warm lemongrass infused towels. And the client is so blown away that she's getting this extra little complimentary service that takes 2 minutes. And um, and it's a way for the esthetician to initiate her presence, her touch, who she is, instead of just going right into the room and slapping product on her face. She's going to first start at her hands and her feet. And she's going to converse with the client of what bothers you? What do you want to get out of today's appointment? What if you could change one thing about your skin, what would it be? And so she's able to talk to her client while she's cleansing and sanitizing her hands and feet, and it feels really good. And then they put spa slippers onto the client's feet and they go into the room, and she'll have her dressed down to her comfort level and get her on the table. And then she'll come in and perform the service. And throughout the service, there's all these little golden nuggets that I teach that will really set them apart as opposed to just jumping right in. And so it's little things like that that our clients are like, "Wow, I get a mini hand and foot treatment before." And what the client doesn't realize is we're doing it for multiple reasons. We're doing it because we want to get to know you and really understand your skin and try to educate you on what you want. We're doing it to cleanse your hands and your feet because I'm about to touch them. And third, I'm going to initiate my touch through the hands and the feet before getting you in the room and going straight to the face, which if you think about it, people don't get touched on their face. Like maybe if we're getting kissed, right? But people's hands on our face is our private space. And people don't realize that when you lay on a table and someone comes in and does that, it's a lot. And so when we initiate our touch through the hands and the feet, we've now already touched our client. We've introduced our touch to our client. And so I teach all these golden nuggets that when my students go out and work in the real world, and they get jobs at these day spas that are going to service, the day-to-day customer, that our esthetician really knows how to relate to the client and make it all about them. And that's what people want at the end of the day. I know I feel good when someone asks me about me. I know I feel good when someone asks me what my concerns are. And when I express that back and I feel heard and understood, and then they then in return educate me on what bothers me and what my needs are, that goes so far. And it's kind of hard to find, and I feel like our industry is getting better, but I think just really relatability and connecting with the client in so many different ways.
So that how do they find somebody to begin with? So they know the right spot. What's kind of the gold star to say, yeah, this is somebody I should check out? So whether it's, I guess, first start off with, licensing. So you're a master esthetician. What kind of pedigree should people have? And then two, what things outside of that can they look for?
Great question. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
No, we lost the video. There we go.
okay. Um, so I think that in today's society, the first place that someone goes to look for a place or to get recommendations is online reviews. I know I do. It's like dinner this or car auto this or eye doctor that. And so um, I think that if you really are what you say you are and you really do give those excellent, 5-star standard services, you're naturally and organically going to build a review platform, right? And so um, I have over 100 reviews for my spa. Every single one of them is authentic. Every single one of them um, was organic. I didn't pay for it. I didn't encourage people. I didn't, beg for it. Nothing. And every single one of them is 5-star. And I'm a school and they're 5-star. And that's where a lot of my pride comes from, is because my message is being delivered to my estheticians and they're delivering it to my clients. And so I think it starts there. People need to do their research. People need to, read what other people have to say. It seems crazy that so much weight is carried on a complete stranger's review, but we trust it for some reason, so um I think in looking for a place, you need to start with reviews. But sometimes people's expectations are set so high because they read these reviews and they're like, oh, I'm going to get a great treatment, and they go and it wasn't a good fit for them, or maybe they didn't mesh well with their therapist and so they have a completely different experience. So I don't have it weighted all on the reviews, but if you really are genuinely a good business and a good business owner and you expect a certain um, performance out of your estheticians or your massage therapist, then the message will be delivered as true and authentic. And so I'm proud to say that every single one of my reviews are 5-star, and that my protocols and my way of spying are are being held up high, and that they are doing them. The second part to your question, um, well, of course, word of mouth too. I mean, girls talk. Any woman has two friends, and she has two friends, and she has two friends, and so people tend to go um, through reviews and also recommendation, right? Pretty much in any business. Like, I know I'm going to use someone that my friend already knows. Um, but if you're like starting out, new customer, or you've moved to a new place, or you are new and entering the beauty world and taking care of, skin maintenance, like anything else, I would do consultations. Like I would, walk into this day spa, walk into that day spa, go into that medical spa, go to that resort spa, and just see where you feel best, because at the end of the day, people are always going to remember how they feel, always. And so um, I know I'm an advocate of just getting multiple um, uh, consultations to just kind of see what's the best fit for me. But most women, they have connections within their group, and a lot of them already have an esthetician. So
Yeah, and what's funny is it's a rolling theme with anyone we bring on the show. We call it the gut check. You go in there, how do you feel? What's your initial reaction? That usually tells you whether it's going to be a good fit or not. So
mhm.
it's just funny to see that happen no matter what the industry is. Well, I think that is a lot of information we covered today. So I don't want to. We're not going to go on too much longer. So how can our listeners get in touch with you? Find you online if they are in Hawaii and want to attend your school, or they want to come check out your spa.
Absolutely. If people are visiting in Hawaii, we have a lot of tourists that come to our spa. We kind of are a little hidden gem. We call ourselves Hawaii's best little secret. Um, Even some of my clients say, I don't want to tell anybody about you because you're so affordable and it's so fun to come here. But I mean, just Instagram, website, all the good stuff. So, my business being called the Skin Institute International, my website is TSII Hawaii spelled out.com. So TSII Hawaii.com. And then our Instagram is also the same, TSII Hawaii. And we do a lot of our bookings through Instagram, through our website. Anybody can come and check us out. On the school side of it, there's a lot of individuals that are, wanting to get into the beauty industry. There's a lot of individuals that want to service other people. They want to help other people feel beautiful and confident. And so I am researched very easily, and I get students from all over the world. I have students from across the nation that specifically move out here to go to our school. Um, so I'm pretty easy to find, and whether you're looking for a beauty career or you want a affordable, quality service by a student, I'm easy to find online.
Perfect. And I'll make sure I put that in the show notes so it's easy for our listeners to find. Uh, Lieren, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day to educate people.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
All right. And to our listeners, as always, please like and subscribe to the podcast so you get the latest content. And please reach out. Let us know, what industry we should have on here next. And with that, we'll sign off till next time.